a lot of stuff going on. We might as well jump right into the big
Yeah.
news. WWE Raw announcing a deal with Netflix coming January 2025. They are leaving traditional cable and they're going to Netflix, the first time that they've put one of the major properties, pretty much their biggest property, onto a streaming network. This kind of follows the pattern, I think, of some of their other deals where it's like there's a huge amount of money attached to it. There's some conglomerate that they've, convinced them to give them this money. And it's like, in what chance do they have of like making this money back for them, and you really can't explain it if you start like trying to put it together, but it don't matter because the money is made and they ran to the bank and they started cashing these checks, and then the stock market started moving. um so basically, so Variety initially reported the deal was worth $400 million annually and believed to run more than 5 years. Sports Business Journal says that the deal's for 10 years and more than $5 billion in total value. Netflix has an out after 5 years, so there's a little bit of a football contract funny money element to this. We'll see, but 5 years is more than enough time to make your money. So they are up and away. Like this is like,
Yeah.
look, I was like, yo, you don't leave the 35-year time slot or whatever just because
Yeah.
it's like this creature of habit, and then it's like, where do the new fans come from? But they took the money this time.
Yeah. I, it, I mean, you've long felt that way, and I felt that way too until I saw that price tag, and I was like, well, I
I
mean,
guess today's the day to update.
yeah. When you almost double the TV money, it was already ridiculous that they was getting anyway. It's like, hey man, like y'all sure y'all don't want to call this world Netflix Entertainment? Like they could have named the damn company, renamed the company for that kind of money. So or you could be like Netflix presents WWE. It could have
Right.
been some shit like that.
Right, we are
Because
Netflix,
man,
and
that's a
this is
lot of money.
WWE.
Right. Full Ruffin. Yeah,
Yeah.
full David Ruffin.
So this is like affects like international as well as Canada, UK, Latin America, and then other countries over time. I would assume as the worldly TV deals expire, it'll probably be folded into this thing.
You can imagine, yeah.
And this is, they're gonna do documentaries. Of course, they're gonna talk about Monday Night Wars for the millionth time.
They're getting international pay-per-view as well, right? Or PLE, right?
I believe so. I haven't read the official press release, but their Peacock deal does not expire until like 2026, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. So I would
Okay.
assume Netflix would then, jump
Absorb
on
it.
that, but
Yeah.
who knows? This adds to the if you were afraid of the television companies the wrestling companies getting over insulated by money, this is a bad day. This is like this puts WWE in a different class from like WWE yesterday. Like the money's not
Yeah.
all that different and all that, but it takes them off of cable and allows them to kind of set the trend now, because I think it's about who does it first, and I think it's if WWE being the ones, basically the industry leader is like, okay, yeah, it's okay to jump into streaming now. So naturally, I think eyes would turn towards AEW, and it's like, all right, where's like what route are they gonna go? Like Andrew Zarin was talking about maybe some type of dual deal, like where it's like the NBA where they stream on the app simultaneously with cable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but now it's like almost a television deal isn't enough. It feels like like the wrestling business has changed today forever at this point.
I can see that. But WWE is so singular compared. I mean, AEW too is. I mean, well, you can't have two things being singular. That's not a point. But like, they're so outsized from the rest of what pro wrestling is that it's like, you know, it's kind of hard to tell if this is a trend or not. And also, a lot of these places, there was talk years ago of like Lucha Underground moving to streaming. There've been talk about,
They used to be on Netflix, have all the
AEW.
episodes.
Right. So it's like, as far as like if they were ever going to get that new season, it never came when everyone got out the deal and got to NXT or AEW. So, I just, I'm not sure. It could be like, to be honest, as big as the roster is, depending on if Raw stays at 3 hours or moves back down to 2, I imagine still stays at 3 because they still have the eyeballs to watch the stuff. So
it's that in the hours.
That's what I meant as far as eyeballs on it. Yeah, the watching time, because it's all about screen time for them. So like I imagine that it can be cool with like, all right, we still have the A show on TV, and we can worry about what Raw looks like in the 5 years from now. We can worry about like the live show attendance and all that kind of stuff for that 5 years from now. But like, we finna take this bank, and after 5 years, it still has the brand name, still has the run time, whatever else. They can bring it back and put it back on. Like, obviously not the same thing as being off TV, but like it was on TNN, and then they put it back to USA. I forgot how long that was, but like, it's obviously a bigger jump from going off of TV altogether than moving networks. But like, I think they'll be like, worst comes to worst, they don't want us after 5 years, which is probably the most likely outcome. We'll take it right back to cable. We'll put this bitch on Sci-Fi. We don't care. Or you can be like, we'll sell it to a network, because what do you got on Monday? Because we sold it to some sucker on Friday nights one time. We could sell the one with the bigger tradition and colors that people remember for longer.
And man, like now Raw going to Netflix, it was real funny to see that logo, and that shit just say WWE Raw. That shit don't say WWE Monday Night Raw on it. It don't say Monday Night Raw and any of this stuff. This is WWE Raw. So what's stopping them from changing Monday?
The name. That's true, but they've also changed the names of it before. They put Monday Night in and out of it before over the years, plenty of times. So
I would not be
it's
surprised.
It's almost them like those Disney TV shows where it's like after 3 seasons they change the name of the show while keeping the name kind of similar, so that like they don't have to pay royalties to people on or not. What do you call it? Not royalties, but oh my god,
residuals.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, so it might be that kind of thing for all we know. Who knows?
So they, there's been talk like of the start date for SmackDown, because when they go to USA, I don't think they're going to stay on Fridays or anything. There was a date that was looking like, maybe they move to a Tuesday, possibly. They've still got NXT also.
To NXT on whatever day it gets.
Yeah, and Raw, like, that's my original point, like, they can put them wherever the fuck they want. So I wouldn't be shocked if they're head-to-head with AEW at a certain point. Even though, I saw a lot of people trying to celebrate the demise of the ratings talk and stuff like that. Here's how it works.
It'll never end, because like AEW to a lot of these people shouldn't exist, and like they'll still have ratings. So it will still happen. It may not happen as far as the back and forth pissing contest between WWE Monday Night Raw went up against somehow like Monday Night Football got a good game for once, and like it's gonna suck for them. It's not gonna be one of those, but it'll still be the AEW did this, but never mind the part where like it was number 1 the demo. It'll do one of those again.
Yeah,
it'll be that. It'll never change.
It will reform in some bigger and bolder kind of way. And if you thought
evolve like a Pokemon,
if you thought that some of those WWE numbers that were coming off on Peacock, say, yeah, this is the, X amount of million people have watched Peacock. This is the biggest thing in Peacock history. I mean, it's like, all right, what do you compare that to? The Netflix press releases are going to be ridiculous. They're going to be like, 15 million hours of Monday Night Raw were watched this past month. And it's like, like, and like all to prepare for outrageous lies to be coming from this shit, because there is no way to check any of this.
That's true. Also, the part that's like funny to me is like the ratings wars. The shit is done with. I'm sorry. I thought that SmackDown was going to USA Network where they do ratings. So what? There's just less ratings, but there'll still be ratings nonetheless. So what are we talking about?
Yeah. People terrified.
It'll happen 2 times.
Terrified of data.
Happen,
terrified of numbers.
3 times a week instead of 4 times a week. That's what really is going on.
Yeah. I think if you're
look, I'm sorry. I said look. I didn't mess with the numbers when I pointed, but look, it'll be 3 times instead of 4. People, if you watch on the stream, be like, he put the wrong numbers up.
Because this is the clip.
The
fourth wall.
Don't get me.
But I think if you're affiliated with WWE, you're in that board, and we'll transition that into the next bit of news because I find this hilarious. This is a day to be popping champagne, like Ron Browse used to say. Bro, like I know we had talked about the group chat. It's like, yeah, they should have fired Vince like 10 years ago and stuff like that. And from a creative standpoint, shit, you could probably go even longer than that. But now it looks like from a business standpoint, I don't know if it was necessarily Vince holding them back, but he damn sure wasn't getting them in the rooms that Nick Khan is, and whatever the hierarchy is right now.
Yeah. I think I said to you, but just based off of the TV deals that Nick Khan has gotten for SmackDown and Raw, the last go round, and then this go round now for NXT, for SmackDown and for Raw this time, people talk about putting executives that are not Vince into the Observer Hall of Fame. Nick Khan kind of has to go in unequivocally now. There's nothing to debate. He signed the most lucrative TV deals. How many in the top 10 are him? Are all of them him at this point? It's yeah, man, he's got to go in there. He's Patrick Mahomes to the shit. We ain't never seen nothing like this before.
Bro, this man walked in and was like, yeah, we about to switch all this shit up. This would not be One Nation Radio if I didn't float some conspiracies. So
here we go.
I just want to know who snitched on Vince. Because I feel like I can start pointing fingers. I feel like it was the call came from inside the house.
Well, so snitch which time though? Which time in particular?
I mean, when he got the doors, there's a few elements of this.
So
when they kicked the doors, yes. When somebody knew where somebody knew where the bodies were buried.
Right.
The Triple H, Stephanie departure, re-arrival, Vince McMahon vote off and back on the island.
Yeah.
Who did this? It's only 3 people.
Yeah, so I think, after seeing the maneuvers of him reinstalling himself, Stephanie being sent out after being an award winner for her work and everything, it was always, for me, it seemed like most logical conclusion was Stephanie and Hunter both tried to get him out of there and it didn't work. And they were about to be ousted. And then luckily, everything else happened. And then Vince sold his company and he ended up falling out of favor after some of his company because he's incompetent at his job at this point. So yeah, that's kind of what it is.
I think he had to know though. I think him selling the company was you are going to basically eat the shit essentially. You can't run this anymore. However, Triple H will come back. We'll allow him back basically. Stephanie, you're going to step because maybe you were ready to go anyway. And basically I'll sell or whatever, but I'll return to rehab my image or whatever. I think there's a bunch of nasty shit that we will never know, unfortunately, because someone's never going to write a book about it. And I wish they would.
NDAs.
Yeah.
So, man, there's definitely something to that. There's definitely some secession going on backstage. It's been going on for the last couple years there with all this stuff. So, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I mean, you can go back further than that. You can go back to 2019 when Vince set Triple H up for that L.
Yeah.
We're going to put you on 2 hours ahead of time to go, and we're gonna leave you in the LA Fitness to go against Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega and Dean Ambrose. I'm sorry, John Moxley. Yeah. Good luck. Good fucking luck. Yeah.
But it's a big day in WWE history today. So they're out of reach. Like they're so big business wise. It's like
that was the thing that was always so funny to me was like when people were like, yeah, can eight, when the ratings were close or whatever else, or the demos were relatively close, like can AEW surpass WWE? No. That's not
like that's not like, the arena they're competing in. Like if it gets close on the ratings or whatever, like they're competing for the creative aspect of this shit. The shit that we care about as fans, like what's better, different stuff like that. And you can talk about which side's better all you want or whatever. But
Rich,
like in a business sense, this shit is a fucking like WWE fucks their way up into making money. So like it's
look, AEW started 1/13 the size of WWE. Like I don't know what you thought this was going to be in like 5 years time. Like I don't like what were you thinking if you thought they were actually going to like this is going to become some Nitro Raw thing where like Nitro is going to beat Raw for 83 weeks or whatever else. Like these aren't those companies are actually close. These aren't.
Yeah.
or relatively close. These aren't. Yeah, so it's just I never entertained this. I'm watching AEW because I think it's the better TV show, and in WWE, while still being a better product, or TV shows today, it's still like there's too much stuff that's really good around the world for me to spend my time plugging 3 hours of my life into it at this point. I can watch the big shows. I can watch stuff on YouTube from here and there, and if something happens, I can be interested in a match or whatever else that's great that I hear good things of. But like outside of that, I just can't do it. So yeah, it is what it is. Like there's nothing wrong with WWE as far as like the thoughts of their demise or AEW was ever going to overtake them. It's never going to happen. Like, sorry, Universal or Islands of Adventure and Six Flags is never overtaking Disneyland in Disney World. It's never happening.
Too many businesses now have a vested interest in seeing WWE succeed now. Like, yes. And also like they have decided Vince McMahon is still a part of this, right? They have decided that is not outweigh the juggernaut or whatever that's like the business.
Yeah. They'll get Vince out. They'll get Vince out or outlast Vince until he's compromised or whatever else to uphold the institution. Like we are at a point in the world where it's like these institutions don't crumble. Like the gap in wealth widens. It doesn't shrink. That's not how this works. Like have you been watching the news over the last decade? It's not getting closer. The gap is widening. Right? Like there's a reason why billionaires gained more billions during the pandemic.
So in other news or related news,